Hello and welcome back. It is Deb and Beck and welcome to day 10. So how did you get on yesterday with day 9? How did you get on with remembering about the projector? Remembering to see that life comes through you and life is your projection. How did that sit with you and what came up for you? It's an interesting one, isn't it?
It's a great one, isn't it? It's lovely to be reminded of that.
Absolutely.
So today, the piece of the puzzle we're going to look at is love.
Oh, so yeah, love.
Just a small one.
Just a small one. When we talked about that just before we started this video, and Beck said, today we're going to be looking at love. I was like, I love love.
She did. That's exactly what she said.
It's such a beautiful thing, isn't it? Love. Just to kind of just stop for a minute. Love. It's just, yeah, incredibly special. And I remember, not long after I'd come across this understanding, I was talking to a friend of mine and we were talking about love. And then we were going into having a session with somebody, and my friend was going to sit in on this session because she'd never seen how the principle was shared, and she asked if she could be there, and the person we were sharing with said yes. And during this session I said something that even came at that point as a little bit of a surprise to me. I just told this person, I said, love isn't something that you need to achieve or get. You don't get love from your partner or your children or any of those things. Love is who you are. Love is what you are already. That's your starting point. And my friend who was sat in on that session, it obviously it hit something in her, and she was like, oh no. And she was it was a really strange moment actually, and she did not see that at all. Because I think in this world we've been brought up, it's really been told to us again and again and again that we get love from somewhere. You know, it's almost like we start with a deficit and then we get love. And actually knowing that we are love. And what happens when we have partners and have a little baby and do things in the world is it touches that love in us and ignites it. But it comes from within us. It's not. Love isn't something you achieve or get. So I don't know how that sits for you.
Yeah, it very much feels like that's the way it's taught, isn't it? That it's an outside in thing. And for me, like as you started that, a word came into my mind, and the word was endless. Like this love that we're pointing to is endless. Yeah, it knows no limits. And I know for me, one of the things that I like to share around this is that I really like the word love, and that really kind of resonates for me, but I'm aware that sometimes that isn't quite, or certainly when you first hear it, it can be a bit confusing because we talk about, loving our children, loving our partners, loving, I love pizza, those kinds of things. And that word love can sometimes have all sorts of different meanings for us. So I think it's also helpful to look at another way round that. And for me, that's the essence or the energy that is constantly at work in this universe. And I think we all kind of know in some way in our minds we can kind of a little bit grasp hold of what that is just by looking at examples like we've done a lot of gardening over the last few months, and we kind of plant a lot of seeds and they grow into amazingly beautiful flowers that just blow my mind. And so when you see something like that taking place, there's an essence in that. There's something that's creative and an energy that brings that about. And that's the same for us as humans. Like if we look at all the different things that we are capable of doing, without even doing, like my hair has grown exceptionally long in the months that I've not been able to get to a hairdresser. And it's like, I don't do that. There's an essence or an energy that's doing that through me. And there's countless examples of that across this planet, across how our lives work. That, if you watch any kind of nature program and it talks about how animals breed and how plants grow and how the planets move around the sun, just all sorts of things that are happening all day, every day, that we don't even think about most of the time. That to me is what we're terming love. That essence that runs everything on this planet and means that I'm a human and means that I know how to talk that somehow as I grew up and listened to people around me, I knew how to turn that into language and speak and share. That is love, and that is endless.
Love in action.
That is, yes, that's what it is. And that's what we're pointing to here. That endless essence and energy that just keeps giving, no matter who you are, no matter what your life circumstances are on this planet. That same love, energy, essence is running through you too.
The word that's coming to me is something we've said before, is generosity.
Mm.
You know, it is infinite generosity, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And it very much, I know we've shared this one before, but it's a beautiful, simple metaphor that just for me really encapsulates what we're talking about here. That plasticine metaphor,
Yeah.
that everything that we are as human beings can be likened to, if you've got a ball of plasticine and you moulded that plasticine into a something, anything you want, you know, depending on how creative you want to be, you can mould that into anything. My partner does a lot of clay modelling, and he has all sorts of little models sitting around his house.
He's really good at
superheroes, little faces. You know, he makes. He made me a little house once, a little cottage, and just all sorts of things that he can. So you know, if you had a ball of plasticine or clay and you moulded that into something, you can look at that something and say that's beautiful. Or you can mould it into something frightening, a big scary dragon or a massive tarantula, or, you know, something you then look at and go, oh, that's scary, I'm not sure about that. But whatever you've moulded that into, it still remains plasticine. The base ingredient of that, whatever that is plasticine. And it can't ever not be plasticine. Even if you scrunch it back up and, you know, remould it into something else, it's still plasticine.
Yeah.
And that's what we're pointing to here, that essence, that love, that generosity. That is the essence of us, and no matter what we are moulded into,
and no matter what happens to us,
exactly, we can't ever not be that.
It can't be pummeled out of you. It can't be. We just can't lose it, can we?
No. So that's very much what we're pointing to here, is that essence of that unchangeable nature. And that's when we talk about love in this way, that is what we're pointing to.
And I have a rather nice quote that I would like to read to you today. So, life isn't about making ourselves into something else. It is about coming home to who we really are. And that really sums up what you're saying then. I think it is being reminded, no matter what we have been moulded into, it's about recognising again, seeing the plasticineness of who we are again.
Yeah.
And of course, we have a challenge for you today.
So your challenge is to reflect on that quote and see where you can recognise the love that you are.
So have fun with that. Have a really nice day, and we will see you in the next video. Take care.
Take care.
Bye.